Hello, Rabbi Manis Friedman. Thank God it's Tuesday. Thank God we figured it out and we're on the air. And this is our first program in 2025. And most importantly, it's our first program since President Trump's inauguration, since we have a new president. And of course, the big question is, so many things are happening, so many things are changing, so many things are being revealed. And of course, the big question is, how is his presidency changing the world in spiritual sense? Is he changing the world spiritually as well?
It looks like it. It looks like it. Well, if you consider honesty spiritual, I don't know why we should, but I think in our time, being honest is like being spiritual, superhuman. But I think honesty is part of what's becoming more popular, because he's honest. I don't know if perfect, but it comes natural to him to be honest. He likes it.
He likes it. But where does all this revelation that is being, so many things has happened in the last 2 weeks? We got rid of so much, I don't want to call it silliness because it was actually atrocities. I mean, thank God we're back to genders. We're no longer concentrated on separation of races or the inclusion factors, diversity, inclusion. And things are changing so rapidly. And he's so into getting to the core of everything that has been bad, that has been done to the world in a very bad sense, the theft, the lies, the everything. The revelation of it all. How is that? What are we being led to? What is the course right now? Especially how it's going to affect us spiritually. How is all of this going to change everything in the spiritual sense?
Well, first of all, he's not the one who's leading. It's time for Mashiach. It's time that the world became godly. He happens to have the mazel, or the virtue, of being the one through whom it's going to happen. But he's not making it happen. And just to remind us that that's true, he's going to have resistance in many areas where he can't make it happen, because he's not Superman. But if he does the right thing, he will be successful. That's absolutely. So long ago, he introduced this idea that there is fake news. That's big. That's a very big accomplishment. Because no one knew fake from real. The fake was real. He exposed the falsehood simply by saying that there's fake news. Now go sort it out, which is fake and which is not. But just the awareness that just because it's reported in the news doesn't mean it's true. That is so important. Now he's going to reap the benefits, because now that people are being a little more discriminating, it's to his advantage and to the disadvantage of those who are trying to lie. So that has shifted the complete balance of real and false and true and in the favor of truth. So all the symptoms that we were told of the coming of Mashiach, that the truth would be absent, that the chutzpah would be out of control, over the top, that there would be inflation and money would be worthless. All of these things have come and they're ready to go now. So we're past many of those issues. And then there's the ultimate war, which we've said many times before. It doesn't have to be a war on a battlefield, because that doesn't resolve anything. The real war is the battle of good over evil. Everyone is calling it that now. I think Trump said it a few times already. This is a war between good and evil. Well, that is a world war, isn't it? The whole world is either good or evil. So all the prophecies are being fulfilled. They're all happening. We can look forward to a much, much better world. Will he take credit for it? I'm sure he'll take all the credit. And that's fine. Let him take the credit.
It's okay.
But his mazel is definitely great. That he gets to be the president while all these good things are happening, and he's not getting in the way. That's great.
Rabbi Friedman, so he is the one. He is the one who is preparing the world for the coming of Mashiach.
It's the times. It's time for Mashiach, so Mashiach's presence is starting to make itself, the vibrations, the excitement before he actually walks out on the stage. So we're already feeling that excitement, and that's why people are now much more open to the truth. They want the truth. They're willing to give up a lot for the truth, even if it's not convenient. That's all happening because it's time. People say the polio vaccine stopped polio, eliminated polio. It may not be true. Polio was on its way out. The time for polio was over. And the vaccine came just in the right time to take the credit for it. So fine, if he wants to take credit, that's great. The fact that he is the president when Mashiach comes is a great gift for him. So he must have done something to deserve it. But let's not think that he is causing all the goodness in the world. He's the tool. He's the channel. Because, it started happening before him.
Of course it did. And it seems like he is the tool to really be that caused the revelation. He is the tool for the revelation.
Catalyst. Yeah.
Yeah, the catalyst. Rabbi Friedman, can we revert a little bit to money being worthless? Because right now, all we hear is the corruption in particularly this area of the world. All of a sudden, Zelensky 2 days ago said that 100 billion just never made it to Ukraine out of 170 billion. And now, there's a lot of, Musk is unveiling a lot of corruption within the government. Obviously, it's nothing new. It's something we understood was happening. But just how, when money is everything at this point, how is it going to become worthless? What is the process?
I don't know. But what we do know is this system going to work in order to make money, in order to pay for what you need, that's going to end. That lifestyle, that rule of nature, that a human being will not find anything to eat unless he goes to a school that teaches him how to make money so that he can make money so that he can buy food. That is such a torturous path. And it's only the result of eating from the tree of knowledge. By the sweat of your brow, you're going to make bread. But that shouldn't be. Why should making bread entail most of your life and most of the days of your life? It's crazy. That's going to end. Which means we're not going to have to work to make money. Which means that money is not going to be necessary. So if money loses all its value, all its buying power, maybe that's okay, because we're not going to need to buy. Nature will provide everything.
Rabbi Friedman, it seems like a very far out concept right now. I mean, being where we are right now and understanding that without money we can just basically starve, not be able to have a roof over our heads. No, I'm exaggerating.
No. Maybe it helps to know that we don't really even have money.
In comparison to some people, yes.
Zelensky says that $100 million disappeared. We don't have $100 million. There is no money behind the money. Where are all these trillions and billions of dollars coming from? They don't exist. It's all paper. It's all, I don't know. It's not even real money anymore. We just print dollars. There's nothing behind it. So if we can live with fake money, maybe we can live without money. It's encouraging to know that we're basically living without real money. I know it can't go on forever, but
it's just, it sounds wonderful. The question is always like how and when, but it seems to be that, everything that we knew for the past 4 years that was fake and fake news and hard to believe, and it was insanity all around. And we understand the same thing about money. Now we are seeing that everybody was right. Not that anybody wanted to be right, but everybody was right. Everybody saw the truth. It just was not written in the papers or said in the news. But we knew the truth. Now we know the truth about money as well. So the question is not, it's just a matter of when. And but for the time...
I don't know when or how, but the past couple of years is very encouraging because everything we really wanted and hoped for, we were told it's not possible. And yet it happened.
Overnight.
Almost overnight. So it's like, you can't say impossible anymore.
No, Rabbi Friedman, everything we've been talking about over the past 4 years, all the confusion that we were trying to figure out, and you knew everything all along, the everything. You called everything. I have proof of it. We have every show recorded. So we have all the archives. Everything you said absolutely within 4 years came to fruition. And you've been saying this about money. You've been saying this about education. Now Trump wants to do away with education department. We're back to 2 genders. There's no confusion there anymore. It happened overnight. Overnight, people lost their bathroom rights. Those that needed, some ulterior options. I'm sorry. And in truth, I think it's horrible for those people because they are such victims of everything. They're just
done to them.
Absolutely. And my heart breaks for them more than for anybody else right now, to be honest with you. It's just, I can't imagine their rude awakening, and they're in for it. So hopefully there's going to be a solution for that as well. But everything, like communism, you said it many times. Communism was done away with overnight. All this confusion is done away with overnight. And it's clarity and confusion all at once. So what is this stage? What do we do in this stage? How do we stay clear and on the path in this particular stage when things just flipped overnight?
Well, the thing that worries me is Israel.
Mm-hmm.
The confusion there, the polarization is so frightening. Among the leaders of the country in Israel, you have pro-Jews and pro-Palestinians. It's that polarized. It's not a question of what to do with Gaza, how many people to kill in a war. It's beyond that. The polarization is, are you pro-Israel in Israel, or are you anti-Israel in Israel? There's no hiding it anymore. There are serious opinions in Israel that Israel shouldn't exist. It's not the enemy that are saying it. And it's to Trump's credit that he doesn't listen to that. They're trying to convince him that we should have a ceasefire permanent, that we should let all the prisoners go. This is Israel's thinking, not anybody else's. How is that going to get resolved? Jews are stubborn. They can look at a miracle and say it never happened. So how do we get the Jews back on board? That's the real challenge. The rest of the world is going to fall into line.
Rabbi Friedman, there's actually something I got prepared because, again, this is something we've talked about so many times, that we have to start being who we were meant to be. And we've been saying for a little while now that Tucker Carlson, the famous host, seems to be a bit anti-Semitic. And all of a sudden, this week, something surfaced that, if you don't mind, I'd like to play for you. I don't know if you came across this, even though it was already on some Chabad sites, but I'll play it for you and for our listeners as well, proving your point once again.
I'm back with the great political commentator, Tucker Carlson. You know, I prayed before you came on the show. I called a rabbi, I know, a Chabad rabbi, and I said, I have Tucker Carlson on the show. It's a very important interview. It's my first show. It's very important. It's going to set the stage for this entire TV show that I have. He said, I'm actually going to send a message to the head rabbi in New York to pray on this meeting, believe it or not.
Oh, thank you.
I know you're a religious man, aren't you, Tucker? You're a believer?
Yes, I am. And what's interesting is without getting too into it, but the Episcopal Church is very much like Reformed Judaism, very much like Reformed Judaism.
Righto.
So similar that if you go to, Emmanuel in New York, or, if you are very familiar with Reformed Judaism and you go to an Episcopal church, you're like, oh, wait, I recognize this immediately. In fact, one was kind of based on the other, honestly. But the point is, they're both, I don't even know any enthusiastic Reformed Jews anymore. And I grew up with a lot of them, and I don't know any enthusiastic Episcopalians anymore, very few. They're Chabad now. Or I think people have realized it's not worth making a sacrifice of 2 hours a week to show up in some building if there's no meaning or spiritual power there. It's like, it's just weak soup. It doesn't feed anything in you. That stuff's dying. It's going away.
1,000% why I wandered my entire life looking for a more fundamental connection to God in plain English, where I felt it.
Well, this is it in a nutshell. What you've been saying, he's not an anti-Semite. He wants Jews to be Jews, the most authentic Jews that we can be. I was very surprised when I came across this little soundbite a little bit on YouTube.
The world wants us to be Jewish. It's as simple as that. And they're very frustrated when we're not.
And they're anti-Semitic when we're not. They're angry at us.
Yeah. I was just in Israel. The mixed feelings about this ceasefire. Another very polarizing. We're so grateful. We're so happy. We're dancing in the streets because the hostages were released. And right across the street, it's like, this is the worst disaster we've ever had. This capitulating to Hamas, letting them run the show, having them come out like they are the heroes. We lost this war. So, yeah, what do? Laugh or cry? Sing or weep? It is a disaster, there's no question. In terms of our PR war, we lost that again, and we're so good at it. We've mastered the art of losing the PR war. The kidnappers are the heroes. And there's no one to blame except our own weakness, our own inferiority complex, or whatever you want to call it. The big hero is the mother who said, my daughter is going to be released on Shabbat. I asked the rabbis, they said I should go greet her and welcome her, but please, nobody else violate Shabbos. That is so amazing. And then we find out that her daughter, while in captivity, kept Shabbos, refused to eat any meat because it wasn't kosher, fasted on Tisha B'Av, and when they released them, they gave each one a Koran to take home. And she refused. She told them no. People are saying she's the new Queen Esther. Yes. So there's so much to be proud of. And we are the chosen people. There's no denying it anymore. And I think her captives knew that. They have respect for her. She set the rules under captivity. Now, that's the way it's supposed to be. Not let the captives set the rules. So she stood up to them, but the government can't.
Yeah, Rabbi Friedman, we have to figure this one out somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. It is such an amazing pleasure to be able to speak with you and to get your wisdom. And even though things are looking up, they're still extremely confusing. And we definitely look up to you to get us on that path of no compromise.
So we're reading
and
in in today's Torah portion. The Jews walked on dry land with water on both sides, standing like a wall. How confusing is that? Whoa. We're walking on dry land where the water is supposed to be, but the water is standing on the side like it's not water. So what should be wet is dry, and what should be dry is wet. What is it called? Cognitive dissonance? Cognitive dissonance? It's like nothing is the way it's supposed to be.
Pretty much like our life right now.
Right. So when we come out of this exile, we're not going to have a dry path in middle of water. There'll be no water that needs to be parted. Everything will be right. Wet, what needs to be wet will be wet, fluid, and what needs to be dry. And no more of this confusion and opposites working together. Everything will become sane. What we see with our eyes will be the truth. We won't have to have commentary to explain what we're seeing. That would be a big relief.
That would be. But for now, we still do.
Yep.
And we're counting on you for that. Our great leader of our generation, for sure. Thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you do to help us see things clearly and get through them with dignity and optimism. Thank you so much. And so looking forward to more of your wisdom, hopefully next week.
Looking forward to more good news.
Amen. Thank you so much.